Hello and welcome back to Watch More Movies. I am your host Ricky, and today, since it is my birthday month, we are going to be talking about birthday themed movies. There is no new release this month to kind of theme this along with, but like I said, since it's my birthday month, I want to just give a few recommendations on movies that have to do with birthdays or birthdays are essential element to the plot of the movie. So the first one today is going to be The Game from 1997, directed by David Fincher, starring Michael Douglas as Nicholas Van Orton, a wealthy investment banker who's turning 48. We learn that that birthday has significance to him and his past. He is a recluse, cold, and distant person from anyone close to him. On his birthday, he receives a gift from his estranged brother Conrad, played by Sean Penn. It's a game that he begins to play without realizing it, blending his work and everyday life with the game, and he cannot tell what's real and what is the game, and it becomes a thriller and mystery. What I love about Fincher is how methodical this film feels in comparison to his other ones. I mean, that's how he is with everything he directs, but with the game, it feels in tandem with the story and how this game is being played out. I think a good contemporary pairing with this movie is Memento from Christopher Nolan. Both give a sense of uncertainty and build up anxiety to the side characters that make you feel even more part of the main character and how they're navigating the story that's happening to them. In the case of The Game, the precise planned out direction feels a lot more in sync with this game, whereas the chaotic nature of Memento feels a part of Guy Pearce's mental state. The Game, a great thriller and is very underrated as far as David Fincher films go. I highly recommend it if you want something that's centered around a birthday. Number 2 is Happy Death Day from 2017. Happy Death Day was a surprise when it came out to audiences, including myself. It follows a college student on her birthday, going through the motions of her day-to-day, until at night, at a party, she's stabbed to death by a killer in a baby face mask. An even bigger problem is she wakes up to relive that day, over and over again. Directed by Christopher Landon, this is a really fun slasher comedy. The kills are a ton of fun, as is the mystery of who the killer is. Landon really zigs and zags with your expectations throughout and keeps you on your toes. Even if the reveal isn't some mind-blowing landmark twist, it doesn't need to be. It's effective and fun, doesn't take itself seriously at all. The cast is solid overall. Nothing's too over the top, but not too serious and down. You don't quite like the main character for a bit, as she's really kind of a typical stuck-up sorority girl archetype, as are most of the characters in the movie, but you don't need everything to be perfect to either root for them or want them to succeed by the end. Number 3 is 1979's The Jerk, starring Steve Martin. It is very out there if you aren't prepared. If modern comedies are a reference point for you, it is very, like I said, out there and very different. It's revered as a classic, and it is funny. It follows Navin Johnson, played by Steve Martin, raised in the South by a black family after being left at their doorstep. He decides to embark on his own journey on his birthday and look for purpose of his own. It plays like several set pieces or bits strung together, so there really isn't a huge story to it, but depending on which set pieces strike your funny bone, it is very funny. The first part of the film, where he works as a gas station clerk, and the third act, where he becomes filthy rich, are the ones that really worked for me. At times, the characterization is a bit rocky, as he is someone that is extremely naive, but that's sort of the point, so I know I'm kind of reading a little bit too much into this, but I do recommend it, and it can be very funny and a good birthday-themed movie. Number 4 is 2004's The Birthday. The Birthday is an odd film to categorize, but the easiest way is a slow-building horror film. It isn't scary in the traditional sense, but contains more horror elements than it is scary. I like what it was going for, and I think it is a solid and weird birthday movie in between all of these, but I just think it could have been trimmed down easily 20 or 25 minutes. There is a cool lore to it that it delves into and really leans into absurd horror comedy elements. Corey Feldman does something very strange here with his character choices, but that's what makes it absolutely work. It follows a young guy who goes to a hotel with his girlfriend for the birthday or the anniversary of the building of her father's hotel, and that's all I'll say about it. So I know Jordan Peele specifically is a huge fan of this movie. He helped restore it, and it was lost to time and to rights and whatever the case was. But I know he's a huge fan of this. So if you like Jordan Peele's taste, then definitely check this one out, because it is very out there, but it is very fun. Number 5 is 2015's Henry Gamble's Birthday Party. This is an indie that took me by surprise. It is about a kid named Henry and the day of his 17th birthday party. He's the son of a preacher and is struggling with his own sexuality and his family that, even his distant family, that are kind of traditional religious people. Already that may be a little too artistic or slow-paced sounding for most people, but I genuinely recommend it. The party consists of many characters who get their own moments or side plots that have a lot to say. There are a lot of themes that surround religion and how religion views people or choices that we make and how it influences and affects the people who are going through so many different things. I wish it narrowed it down to only 2 or 3 ideas that I had, because it kind of gets all over the place sometimes. But if it tackled those 2 or 3 ideas, then I feel like it could have been a lot more focused. But it is still frustrating to see these things play out so normally, which I can assure you, these are 100% how these conversations go amongst a lot of people and how many people in the church view these things. There is a character that is given a side plot and backstory that is tragic and maybe even the heart of the movie that isn't the titular character Henry. If you want something a little more indie, a little more grounded, I definitely recommend it. And surprisingly, caught me by surprise was Joe Keery having a side role in this. So recommend it. Check it out. It's a good little indie. Number 6 and the final recommendation. What a final recommendation for this theme is 1998's The Celebration, directed by Thomas Vinterberg, who notably did the 2020 Danish film Another Round, which is terrific, and I recommend that as well, by the way. It follows a family who come together for their father's 60th birthday, not long after one of the daughters had recently died. At the dinner, some secrets are revealed about the family, and it turns into a tense drama that only gets more heartbreaking and emotionally unstable as the night goes on. This is, as I said, tense, but above all else, it's very uncomfortable, but not in some shock value sort of way or some grotesque way. It's heartbreaking in the same token, but it is uncomfortable and deliberately meant to be as part of the story. It is hard to talk about the film without revealing too much because there are, like I said, secrets revealed that are integral and you need to experience on the first watch. The cast is incredible in this, especially from Ulrich Thomsen, who plays the central son of the story, Christian, and Henning Moritzen, who plays the father of the story. In order to make this movie work, you need those 2 actors who play those 2 characters to have, 1, great chemistry, and 2, you buy into the relationship and they knock it out of the park. There is a unique handheld aesthetic to the quality to this film that was part of a much larger movement in cinema that started with this film that really grounds you in the story and makes you feel as if you are in the house with this family witnessing this all unfold. The Celebration is easily the best out of these films I've recommended, but I know it will be a bit harder to grasp for people. So that's it for my recommendations on birthday-themed movies or birthday-related movies. These aren't obviously like my favorite movies that are related to me, but like I said, they do involve a birthday integral to the story or the idea of it. If you like some of these, this is where you can check them out. Right now, The Jerk and The Game are only available to rent, purchase or rent. Happy Death Day is available on Prime Video. The Birthday is available on AMC Plus, Shudder, Philo, I don't know how it's pronounced. Henry Gamble's Birthday Party is available on Roku with ads, Canopy, Criterion Channel, and Mubi, and The Celebration is on the Criterion Channel right now. Thank you for listening to me talk about these movies today. The next episode is TBD, but stay tuned next week, same time, Thursday, 8 a.m. EST. You can keep up with the show on Instagram at PodWatchMovies and on Bluesky at watchmoremovies.bsky.social. On there I have a thread that I consistently update and will link to what I watch throughout the week, so you can always check that out. Please subscribe, Apple or Spotify, YouTube. The show's link tree is on both Instagram and Bluesky, so check it out. And until next time, watch more movies.